Welcome to the Joyrific podcast. I'm going to have you introduce yourself. So tell us your name and then tell us what you do, what you've done professionally for a lot of years.
Okay, I am Julie Heaton, and I am a mother of 4, grandmother of 16, and I am a childcare owner and director. And so I have had a childcare center from 1986 until present.
Wow.
So we are still continuing and doing and still learning. That's the beauty of all of this. So my degree's in elementary ed and special ed, and really now more just in children in
That's
general.
amazing. And you've been here local in Idaho Falls
From day one.
from day one.
Wow.
And
yes.
your center is still in the same location, or have you moved locations?
No, we're in the same location. So I have the Small World Child Care Center on Boulevard in Idaho Falls. It was the first hospital in Idaho Falls, so our building itself has a historical foundation because other hospitals have been built and torn down, and my building is 102 years old.
Wow.
So it's awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
And how many kids do you think you have seen since 1980?
Oh, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. But right now, we register about 225 kids, and we average about 150 a day.
Wow.
Have a staff of 22 employees. So they're great people. They're the ones that literally give their hearts and souls to what's happening.
Wow.
So it's great. So you multiply that, and we're watching children of children who we watched in the beginning. So I really am a grandma and a nana to most of these
Hundreds
children.
of kids.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
So we were at a thing the other day, and I sat next to you, and I said, I really want you to be on my podcast. And I really want you to pick a word that helps as people are becoming who they want to become. And you instantly had a word.
You know, I think at that point you asked me more what you told me, just like in raising children.
Yeah.
What would it be?
Yeah.
And which is becoming. But it was being involved, because when we're involved, that's what becomes an example, a leader, just the things that we do in raising children. If we were left them alone to raise themselves, could they become wonderful people? Absolutely. That's that innate nature in some of us, most of us, hopefully.
Yeah.
But just being involved is what gives us reason to be here and reason to want to be better.
I love that. And I don't know if you know my history of my parents. My dad was raised in poverty and pretty much, like you said, on his own. He was left to raise. Sometimes he was the only one that had a job and a car in his household. And so when he ended up joining the church, he came from this history of never having a father figure, never having anybody to show him how to do it. And he jumped in, and I would say us kids were part of his life. His hobby was coming to our events, and it was really awesome because he never had that example. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what you talked about being involved in what your kids are doing and how it is that they're. Do you see that? Tell us how you see that.
Absolutely. I mean, granted, my husband and I both work, and we did work. I thought my dad was my principal growing up, but then he was my superintendent, and I didn't dare do anything wrong. It was like, you can't make a mistake because you're going to be found out. So anyway, I thought I was always terrified of my dad. I thought these expectations were so high, and I had a mother that was awesome. She raised us and then went to work when we were in school. She was a teacher. And for some reason, it wasn't until literally later in my life when I had children that I thought, you know, I didn't have to be perfect. My parents didn't tell me, you have to be perfect. They loved me no matter how I was, but they loved me. And it's funny looking back as a parent, because I think I tried to tell my children, you have to be perfect and I'm going to help you get there no matter what you do. And that's not the case. We learn from each other. Sorry, emotional.
No, don't be sorry.
And my dad was so loving and so kind and so good. And It wasn't until later that I realized he loved me no matter what. It was me that put those expectations on myself. And so as individuals, we do that. Some of us have, have things where we say, I have to be perfect. I'm not doing well enough, so I'm not happy today. And that's not the case. We're loved no matter what. And I think that's why I love the gospel so much, because we know our Heavenly Father, our Savior, love love us totally.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
that's
bet
me. Turn it off.
that's you. That might be me.
I think it's in my pocket, and I forgot to turn off my phone. Yep. Just push the mute. Oh, other pocket. There we go. I'm not gonna answer it. It's okay. Okay. Sorry.
No, that's perfect.
That was a me thing. I forgot.
I'm gonna mute this one too, because it's always gonna call us right at the good part.
Now I have to have a tissue.
I know, and I will get
Anywhere.
you.
My nose is gonna
I
run.
usually have a tissue box right here, and it's been stolen by my
That's
children.
okay.
Let me find my tissue box.
Oh, toilet paper's great. Anything to wipe my nose with. This is so fun. You're great. That's perfect. I am a crier.
Good.
You're going to learn me. No, it's not good. My children will tell you that.
I really do have a tissue box here.
It's okay. You know what? I'm good. I'm great.
Right.
We're good. I got what I needed.
Oh, and I'll get you a trash can. How's that?
That's even better. Because usually it's my leg. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh. Interruptions are important as a parent.
Yes. There we go. See, calm myself. That's good.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a couple of bullet points.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're going to if you'll just give me the bullet points, I'm going to probably cut this part. Just give me the
Great.
bullet points.
Okay.
And I'm going to write them down so that I feel a little bit prepared and can help us.
Sure. Absolutely. So I'd like to start with one thing. You said, what's the most important word in becoming? And in becoming, I had a quote that I had found from from Brad Wilcox, and I just loved it because he says, "Don't you dare let the world change you. When you were born to change the world." And I love that because
love
that
that.
is part of us becoming who we are. Because do we give in to friends, family, if we feel like those things are not in our best interest? And that's part of what develops us. And I just thought, you know what, that's the portion that you addressed. And then really what I will be addressing more is the important word in how we try to raise our children probably is where I'll be, but they go back and forth in individual as well as parenting.
Yeah. Well, and so often, right? Like as I say these things to, I've recorded a couple of podcasts.
Have you?
I most of it, I'm like, oh, that's actually for me.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're all kids at heart, and kind of like this
Yeah.
chart. Like I
Yes.
made this chart for my kids, but so often I'm the one that needs it more than anybody.
Yep. You know what? That's what I have to think, because I'll think something when my kids say something, I'll think, oh, or my husband, and I think, oh, you need to do that. And then I think to myself, oh, you know what? No, really, you need to do that. That's what you need to think through first, because you can't give advice unless you're following through with it yourself. And I'm a really good advice giver and more a learner. So there we go. So anyway, the bullet points I had were just being involved physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Okay.
And then all together always.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So and I actually love that, because so much of that is what the new youth program is. With that, have you been in primary since the new youth program?
No.
So they changed, and I'll have to get it, but because Scouts is gone, and the young women's, how they do the young women's is gone. So the new youth program is about physical, spiritual, emotional, and intellectual are the four
really
things.
we're there,
So
yeah.
it's nearly identical to this.
Awesome.
And that's amazing. And so much of the research that I've done on child development comes back to these 4 things.
They do.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to talk about, so I'm going to do a little bit of business. We're going to have our conversation here, and we're going to talk about the bullet points that you come prepared with. Those that want to stay longer, at some point, we're going to stop the deep dive discussion, and we'll do an extended track. So anybody that wants to stay longer, it'll be unfiltered. We'll just continue to talk and tell the good stories that you have.
Great.
And then those that are young and don't have so much time, we'll pull out the highlight reel, and you can get the highlight bullet points and just listen to the highlight reel. But right now, we're going to jump into this deep dive conversation of how to become who you need to become by being involved.
Great. So my thing was, when I said that, I thought to myself, well, what is the word involved? What is the definition of involved? And really, it's emotionally or physically or both association with someone. So somehow we're involved with people emotionally, personally, through those things that we're doing. So when I was thinking of that, I just thought, for us, what does involvement mean? And to me, that is what it is. So developing those relationships. And so the first one that we did physically is, are we, as a parent, number one, or as a youth or anybody, are we physically taking care of our own needs? Which I thought, that's huge. As a parent, we're providing those needs and helping take care of those needs individually, depending on where we are. Are we covering those physical needs that we need? Are we eating well? Are we doing active things that keep our bodies healthy? Are we nurturing ourselves through all kinds of efforts and things that we're doing?
Well, and like that you're in education, so that comes from like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and how you have that foundation of a bed to sleep on and food to eat.
Right.
And I imagine some of the kids that you help with, like you are that safe place for them.
We are. Some of them struggle a little more than others. I mean, and that's the one thing that I do love about the center that I have, is that we're there. And again, we're developing a bond and a relationship together between teachers and children, between children and children, between everybody else. And somewhere in there, they have to learn that we're there, they can trust us and rely on us so that we can give back to them what they need.
Yeah.
And if they don't have it at home sometimes, there's still another safe place.
Yeah, because they go from school, I imagine. So they come to your place in the morning. You take them to school, get them after school.
Some of them we do, yes.
Yeah. And so investing in that like emotional bank account, that physical bank account, to have someone there for them.
Yeah, and that's why we are where we are. I mean, there are centers we've looked at, could we grow? We could. And we've been asked to, but we have chosen not to, because then we're no longer involved in me being the type of control person I am. It's like, if I leave, see, who's going to make sure all of these things happen with these kids? Not that a manager couldn't, but that's my investment in what I'm doing, and I want to make sure it goes well.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So.
That is beautiful. And that kind of bringing it right back to the joyrific chart, when you don't have your ears on, what do you do about it? And you go down to that caution sign and figuring out if it's that physical function, if it's the sleep patterns, if it's food and nutrition, or if it's just attention and expectations that they need.
And sometimes, I love this. I was just introduced to it now, but it is phenomenal, because literally it is there somewhere. It's in one of those things.
Yeah.
There is an answer. And we just have to figure out where it is and help you to promote it and find it, so you have a way to deal with it.
And so often we don't even know.
No.
But it's,
or we're told we have an issue. And you know what? That's the part of all of this that is so hard, because I deal with kids who will look at me and say, I can't control that. I have ADHD. And I'm thinking, you know what? That's a label that you've been given, but that part of you can learn to control if we help you understand why it's happening the way it is.
And Garth says so often, he says, it's not your fault.
No.
But it is your responsibility.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so, and
Yes.
and we definitely have ADHD in our family, and it's not your fault.
No,
But your brain works differently. It's your responsibility. You can't just be a jerk.
no.
You have to be able
Exactly.
to.
Is there still a consequence? And I think that's the biggest thing is there's natural consequences for everything.
Mm.
And even if there's a reason that we do something, and sometimes it is. I mean, if we're really hungry and we need something, we may be more aggressive in saying, I
Yeah.
need food, or
Yeah.
I need your food, or
Yeah.
something.
Well, and like I have a kid type 1 diabetic. So if
Correct.
she's low, yeah,
Yes.
she needs food.
She does.
Like more than any other kid because
Correct.
there is a medical emergency happening.
So as a society, we have to learn to understand some of those things.
Yeah. And the thing with her is it's easy to chart it. I can graph it out. But other kids, you can't graph it out.
No.
And they need it just as much as she needs it with her medical condition. It's just not as easy to identify and to see.
Right.
And so helping the kids with that. And with Joyrific, the big thing that we say is only you can move your magnet. So everybody gets their own magnet.
I
And
love that.
3-year-olds they really grasp onto this concept because they want to tell me, the little 3-year-olds want to tell me I'm being grumpy as the mom. And I'll say, and they'll come and tell me, like, you have to move your magnet. You're on grumpy. And I'll say, I am trying really hard to be kind. So my magnet is on kind. And yeah, your actions are affecting.
I love
like,
that. You can only move your magnet.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
And if 3-year-olds can get it, then 4-year and as they
Absolutely.
continue, then when they're in high school, they understand only they can move their magnet. Some of these high school kids don't get that.
Sometimes you just taught me something. Only I can move my magnet. Only
Yes.
I am in control of where I really want to be and what I'm doing, which is sometimes I want to look at my kids and say, you know what? You made me this way. And you know what? You didn't make me this way. It was a choice I still have. So I loved you. I'm trying really hard to be kind. That's great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay unkind until I really can't be kind anymore. That I guess I'm going to move my magnet to grumpy.
And sometimes I take mine from kind and it like gets a little bit closer and a little
Yes.
bit closer to grumpy.
Yes.
And
Yep.
and yeah, but and that's the reality, especially when I made this when I had 3 little girls and I was a young mom and I didn't really love what I was doing. All of a sudden these kids, they were yelling at me all the time and like I was just trying to clean up and
Yeah.
it was a big learning curve of, wow,
I love this because you can compromise and you can see it by the movement of your magnet rather than
Yes.
literally having to process it. So your 3-year-olds can see, are we working? Are we getting closer to where we both can handle this
Yeah.
and do it together? That's fantastic.
And I sometimes so I don't really love timeouts. I don't think that they're very effective. Kids they're getting punished for something
No,
they don't
we
really
call it a
understand.
time to think about what just happened.
Yeah.
There's never a timeout. There's a time to think and regroup and pull yourself back together.
Exactly. And that's what we have on the chart, the QT time. You're
Yes.
quietly thinking,
Correct.
you're sitting on the stairs in a safe place,
Right.
whatever it is. And I've had 4-year-olds, because I've done this with my family,
Yeah.
since 2010. I've had 4-year-olds yell out to me because I said, okay, you sit on the stairs with your chart and think about it. And then I've had them yell out to me, hey, Mom, I'm tired. I'm going to go lay on my bed. And they independently have gone up on their bed and laid down and fallen asleep. And empowering kids to check in with themselves is so amazing. Like if I hadn't seen it, I wouldn't have believed it.
I love it.
It's amazing.
such a good thing. I
So
love it.
physically being involved.
Yes.
So tell us what that looks like, because you've had your own experience, then you've had experience with parents that have been through your center for those last several decades.
So honestly, I think again, it's communicating where we're going to be involved, what we're going to do, because is involvement physically 100% of the time always available? It's not. And when we have to share between children or other family members or whatever, there are more important things at some point where we have to say, at this point, you get to be in charge of you. I have to go do this. And that's okay. So physically involved is as much as you can be, but I think it's more the communication part. When your kids are involved in activities, supporting and saying, yes, that's a great activity. I love that. if I can come, I will be there to support you in doing those things. But also, you know, providing the needed things that we need as individuals physically.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so our point number 1 was being physically involved in our kids' lives,
Yes.
or the neighbors, or
Anybody,
anybody that you're with.
even our friends. So if we're older and we're in college, that's when we're serving and we're involved with our roommates. They become that family to us. So whoever happens to be around you, and I think that's the biggest physical involvement. You can watch them. Do they have needs of physical things that you can help provide also? And the service becomes a part.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that brings us to point number 2, which is
mentally and intellectually involved.
Okay.
So, you know, and that's literally, again, problem solving, helping with education, supporting things and learning. And we all continue to learn. So whether it comes initially from within with us as becoming somebody who we want to be, how much am I going to continue to learn and see? For me, I was always told you've got to finish college, which I think is a good thing. But there are children who literally can learn and function and learn independently and are great people in community and things. So literally learning is wanting to continue to learn and promote good things in our lives.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And there's a lot of different paths that you can do because there's trade schools you
Absolutely.
can do. There's internships
Absolutely.
you can do. There's on-the-job training you can do.
Which is great.
And
Yes.
so you're just saying continue.
In
However-
every aspect of your life. Yes.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
I love it. I don't think we ever quit learning. If we do, I think we're going to learn so much more in the next life that I think we will say, oh my goodness, had I learned some of this here and continued, my life there would be even better. So,
Yeah. So I have a story. Do you have
We're
another
good.
thing?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a
yeah,
story?
sure.
So Ainsley is in Boise right now doing the PAGE program at the Senate.
Okay.
And they just did a graduation ceremony. And of the senators on the education committee, that's where she's been serving, asked her a whole bunch of questions. I mean, they kind of grilled her. It's quite amazing. It's like a 20-minute conversation with Ainsley and 10 senators asking her questions. And one of them asked, you know, what was your expectations coming out here? And she said, you know, I just finished this government program. I thought I knew everything. And I was coming out here and I was so excited because I knew everything about how the government works. And she says that first week, I started to learn. And then the second week, I realized I actually didn't know everything. And I started to learn all the things that I didn't know. And her saying that to these senators was really humbling, I think, because she admitted that she thought she knew everything at 18. And then she recognized that she doesn't know everything and that she's going to need to continue to learn. Yeah. It was really fascinating, and I was so proud of her.
I think that's wonderful because learning continues always.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn, and I realize how little we know every day and how little I know. I'm almost 65. I'm going to be 65 this year, and it's like, okay, is learning done? No, this is just the beginning of where I've still got to go to learn so much more.
Yeah, and so much of what she was learning and what you've been learning is the hands-on. You never know. It's not out of a book necessarily. It's just happening.
It is happening.
You just roll with it.
Every time.
And sometimes you probably screw up. I mean,
yes.
I know I do.
We all do. That's how we learn. That's part of the learning process. Yeah. Every day, if we don't learn from a mistake, the mistake wasn't worth making. So we make mistakes to learn. We have experiences that humble us so that we can learn. Yeah, we learn from everything we do. So I think learning is a continuum.
We talked about that at church the other day, the stumbling blocks that kind of get in our way. And how, do you want to say, do you remember when we were talking about the stumbling blocks?
No, go ahead.
So we were talking about stumbling blocks and on this path, and sometimes we trip over them.
Oh, yeah.
And then we go around them, or we go the other way because we don't want to continue to trip. And as we learn to like step up onto them and learn from them and raise ourselves up, how that really can help us.
It can.
Because if we continue to trip over the same thing, like what is it that we're supposed to learn here?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to make that same mistake over and over and over.
Yeah.
And we want to learn. It's like running a race. If you fall down and you give up, you're done. you have to get up and continue. Even if you're the last one coming in, it doesn't matter. You got up over and over and you still made it. So you learned. You
Yeah.
progressed, which
Oh,
is
that's
huge.
good. That's good.
Which is huge. Yeah. So the other part of that is also discipline and structure with learning and being mentally involved. So I love your chart again because discipline and structure are right there. They're deciding already, where am I on this chart? What are the consequences?
Yeah.
We're working together to map out that. And I
Yeah.
think that's huge.
And taking the ownership of it.
Absolutely. That's the biggest part. To learn to take ownership, I
Yeah.
think is huge.
So tell us how you do that at your center. How do you help these kids take the ownership and then have those natural consequences?
Sometimes it's really difficult because sometimes kids, we don't want to take ownership. We want to say it's somebody else's fault that this happened, and yet we were there, we were involved. It takes two people to come up with or with something that is wrong, and a lot of times we'll try to review in advance. If this, then what? And so kids have a good idea of what a natural consequence is if they choose to do something. Granted, a lot of times it's, well, this happened, which maybe we didn't think about. Now, what's the consequence? And again, I think it's always huge because I've learned, oh, well, you did this, so here's your consequence. But the communication, which I've learned from my own children, is the key because I can give a consequence. It didn't do them any good unless we communicated through it and figured out why so that we both can grow from it.
Yeah. And this is hard.
It's not easy. It's not
Because
easy.
I've tried, and so often I'm like, and you lose it all.
They do.
And and Garth tries to help me. He's more level-headed than I am. So he tries to help me like connect the consequence of like they've done this thing. What's a natural consequence for that?
Yeah.
And it takes patience that usually in those situations, I don't have my ears on. I don't have patience. I just want to like blow it up and blow up everything.
And it takes consistency because I was not consistent as a mom. I would say, okay, you did this. Your consequence is you don't get to go do this. Then my heart would set in or my brain would forget, one of the two.
Yeah.
And I would say, oh, okay, you can go do that. Well, that again just enabled those children to say, she's not going to remember and she's not going to follow through. So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
No matter what I did, I didn't have control, which wasn't me really being in control. Neither did they, because
Right.
they didn't have that consistency. And my daughter that works with me is so consistent. And if a child if a child chooses not to do something so they don't get to participate in an activity, she follows through. My heart says, oh, just let him do it.
Yeah.
But then they continue to make the same mistake. And I will tell you, watching her do this, even with her own children, because I gave in to her and she says, Mom, my kids cannot grow up to be the type of child I was. So there will be consistency in my family, and she's good at it. And those kids know, and the kids in our center know, sometimes it's like, well, you're really hard. And you know what? They know she loves them because she follows through. So you really did care about me and what happened.
Yeah.
And she has even gone to school with children who have been kicked out of school, and she'll say, I'll go. And the parents say, I don't know what to do. So she will go, and these principals and teachers will look at her and say, how do you do it? Well, I'm consistent. And they know that I love them.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. I'm consistent. It's like our Heavenly Father. He gave us commandments. Is there a consequence? There will be. Doesn't mean I don't love you. No, I did this for your benefit so that you can follow through and learn and continue to grow. So I'm continuing to learn because my heart still wants to give in sometimes. And my daughter will tell me, Mom, don't do that. And I'm thinking, or at her house, I'll think, oh, I'll just go comfort that child.
Yeah.
Mom, let him have his time for a minute because he will figure it out himself or herself. And it
Yeah.
works.
That's good. And again, it's so hard. I'm not very consistent. And sometimes, like, if the consequence is you can't go to the activity. Well, some of my kids, I need them to go to the activity.
Yes,
So
I get it.
that can't be the consequence.
No, so it has to be something different.
Yeah, and it's hard because some kids I'm like, no, you don't go to the dance, and other kids I'm like, you have to go to the dance.
Right.
And helping
right.
to balance that.
It is hard. In my center, if they're missing an activity, it's a little bit easier
Right.
because I have another classroom they can go to. Do they still get to go play and get the exercise or the things that they need? Yes.
Oh, good.
Even though they miss the activity, it's an activity they would have been with peers or friends. Now they're just with a younger age or an older age or whatever happens to be the case. And they're still learning, not that they're totally bit left out. You never want to leave
Right.
somebody totally out. And it's like you said, certain children have to have those activities and those things just to get energy or release or whatever that
Yeah.
it needs to happen.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
So I love it because we're kind of saying be consistent and fluid.
Correct.
And so,
Not one consequence is always the same for every child.
Yes.
Because children are so different. And I said, if they would have given me a handbook with my children, it would have been great because what I did for number 1 did not work for number 2 or number 3, and maybe not even number 4 or some things. And so it is. And they'll say, well, this child got to do this, and why do I not? Because we're all different. We're all
Yeah.
individual. We're all unique.
my mom always says equal treatment of unequals is not equal treatment.
I love that. That's awesome. I
And
love that.
it's hard, and
Yeah.
that's part of, and I think that's part of as a parent or a caregiver. If we're in a good place,
Yep.
then we're able to help function in a better place. So like it comes back to
Absolutely.
only like I need to make sure that my magnet is on kind before I'm
But you've
dishing
eaten your
out.
breakfast, right? You're not hungry. No, I'm not hangry today. It's all good.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay. So we're on
Number
number 3.
three.
Yep. Emotional involvement, which again, there's so many things. It's being an active listener, like we've already talked about, because we have to not just listen and not listen, which I'm really good at. My kids will say, you're not even listening to me. And I'm thinking, I am, even though I'm trying to get something else done, but active listening, participating in that, that's the involvement portion of that.
Yeah.
Having empathy and understanding. Again, it's that involvement in those things because I can say, I understand, and yet not act like I understand. So that empathy really isn't there. And then validating them, which helps build their self-esteem, which is another portion of that. Because when a child feels confident about themselves and they can handle things, which is so hard in this era and this age, because with social media and so many things, they are bombarded by so many things. So that's when they have to say, this is who I am. And that's when, again, I say, remember, Heavenly Father loves you individually. Even if right now you don't think your mom or your dad or your siblings or your friends love you, you are always loved. And we try to love with that love, even though they don't think so, because sometimes it doesn't always show. Maybe I'm on the I'm grumpy today part, and I have to think, okay, I have to think through this and do it. And then we have to comfort and support them in the things that they do.
And I think modeling that is important.
Absolutely.
And,
that's huge.
And it's when I started this chart back in the day, like it started as a red, yellow, green light on my fridge. And then I thought, that's pretty negative. The green was positive, but the yellow and red were very negative. And so I said, okay, we can't do it like that. So then I added a couple more colors and it got a little bit longer. And there was white up at the top, the super duper happy, and then the gray temper tantrum. And I found it would just bounce from super duper grumpy to super duper happy to super duper grumpy. And we weren't doing any of those middle ones.
I love that.
And so now when we created the 3x3 grid, it really helps you to stop and to think. In front of I love especially introducing this to little kids because they stop and they look and they think about how it is that they're feeling.
I love this.
And
this is so great.
You live in the middle and you visit up high and you visit down low. But if you're living all the time down low or up high,
I agree.
there's something off because part of these emotions it's important to have all of these different kind of emotions. And it's important to model these different kind of emotions to the kids. And we as adults mask some of our feelings and because we want to be professionals, but we do need to model it and help communicate. So it's not oh, super duper happy mom, super duper happy mom, super duper happy mom, extreme temper tantrum. Like we need to help show that there are other things that are in there.
And we're all human. So we've all lived in
Yeah.
every one of those 9 grids at some point in our life. And that's okay because we're
Yes.
learning from them.
Yes.
So I think that's great.
And that reminds me back to Gracie with her blood glucose. It's really easy to chart it. Like I can see a graph and I can get a number.
Yep.
And we say every number is a good number. It's what you do with that information.
Wonderful.
And that's same with these emotions. You don't chart it. Like there's not a
No.
this emotion means you're at 72 or like it's so
Yeah.
much more abstract than that.
Yeah.
But every emotion is a good emotion. It's what you're doing with that emotion. Because if you're going to go punch your brother in the face, like, okay, that's not good. Like, let's figure out a different approach of what we could do it.
Yeah.
But I have some stories. I mean, I have endless stories, but I have a story that, one of my kids is screaming and yelling at another kid. And I come into the situation and I think, okay, like this is a problem. We're having a temper tantrum. But she was trying to get him from knocking over the lamp. So she's like, Mom, my magnet's unhelpful. I am helping him not to break the lamp. But she, if I looked at her, was definitely throwing a temper tantrum. And so that goes back again, like what's in your heart versus what's on your face, and how if you're trying to get him to not break the lamp, like are there other ways that we could try and get him to not break the lamp?
I love that.
Because shoving him and pushing him against the wall,
Which is the immediate reaction of most children. That's our defense mechanism. That's how we say, don't do this, rather than thinking through, how can I do this in a different way? It's how we all learn.
yeah,
how we all learn.
exactly. And as parents, we have to remember, like, I'm trying to be helpful, but if I looked in the mirror right now, would I be having, what does it look like a temper tantrum on my face, even though I'm trying to be helpful?
Right.
And those are hard conversations
They are.
to have.
They are. And they're so there because we don't look in the mirror. So what we're feeling inside and what's being portrayed here can be totally different. Even I myself, my daughter told me one time, you just got really mad at me. And I thought, I didn't do that. That's not what I meant. But she took it from my facial expression and how it was. And then I have to think, did I really do that? Because inside I didn't feel it that way, but it was expressed that way.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Oh, that's huge. So I was talking, I've been through several classes about like your body language, right? So like
Huge.
when you are sitting there like lecturing your kid with your arms folded, and like I have this lovely like forehead scowl on my face, right? This like ever. So I make a conscious effort of like when I am trying to actively listen, like unfold my arms, like present my own body language in a way. It takes effort for me to do that.
It takes effort for everybody.
And
Because we don't see ourselves. We see
Yeah.
what we're dealing with or somebody else, and we can see that from them. But you're not looking in a mirror with everything you're doing, and to realize that's huge. I love that.
It's been interesting. So I try really hard. So sometimes if you see me and I'm like awkwardly sitting like open,
I need to take you this again and do this a little more.
yes.
I love it.
And it makes a difference. It really does. Yeah.
Body language is huge. You're teaching me today. I'm learning so many
Oh.
things. I'm learning so many things. I got to go back and focus on my body language to make sure it's good
Yeah.
and positive, even if I don't always feel that way. Because I think once we change our body language, we become that a little easier too. So that's
Yeah, you
another
kinda
that's another part of
embrace it.
becoming, right?
Right.
There we go. We're
Right.
going to do it. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So our next one was spiritual involvement. And spiritual involvement, I think with me, I've had to learn that even I have that last, but it regulates everything else. So spiritual involvement is, again, example or modeling those values, because it's like in any other thing, we can't say one thing and do something else, because that never teaches, that never helps. We don't learn from that. So teaching moral values, teaching kids to be kind, to love, but we can't do that if we aren't kind either. So
Yeah.
it's modeling and being an
And kids
example.
catch on. Like
Oh,
you can't really
yeah.
fake it.
Oh no, that's one thing I don't think we ever fake. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
hard. Like I said, when you introduce this to 3-year-olds, they really want to hold you to it.
Oh yeah.
And if you are not in a healthy spiritual
Yeah.
place, having a 3-year-old tell you that you're throwing temper tantrums all the time
Yeah.
doesn't help.
Yes. No, that's true.
And so you
That's
really
true.
you have to be aware because they so lovingly are telling you
They
to
are.
help you,
Abs-
obviously,
Absolutely. They don't know the
but
difference. Yeah.
it's not helpful sometimes.
No, I guess that's when we have to say, okay, where are we spiritually? And say, right now, I need help. Heavenly Father, you need
Yes.
to help me. And again, that's part of that involvement because Heavenly Father has always told us, I have all this for you. But what do we have to do? We have to ask.
Yeah.
We have to ask for that help. And if we feel like we need help, ask. And if children feel like they need help, they're asking us. So it's a whole cycle of modeling. And
Yeah.
if we can follow that example of Christ, we would be great. But
So how
we're
do
still
you
learning.
Oh, we are still learning. How do you do that in your clinic or in your center?
Uh-huh.
Because your center isn't necessarily faith-based.
No, it's not. And you know what? Again, I have to just love totally, just completely with these kids. And some of them are harder to love. And my mom always told me those that need the love most deserve it the very least, which is so true because they're fighting for attention somewhere. And I even had this conversation with one of my grandkids the other day. I had 5 of them, 2 of my grandkids, some other kids. We go to the temple in the morning on Tuesdays, and our conversation on the way back was, well, are your kids hard, or which kids were hard? And so we talked about even family placement sometimes, I think, has a thing because we were talking about third children. If they have another sibling after or before, it's that middle child. It's
Yeah.
kind of, they feel like they have to deal with the older child. They also have to compete with the attention that the younger child needs. And so where is my place? And not that it always works that way. But as we were talking about that, it's literally that we all need to know we're loved individually, completely, and it's never going to be the same. But we love them all with the same amount of love. Not the same, I guess, because I always want to say I love you just as much as I love you the same as the others.
Yeah.
We love them with as much love.
Yeah.
But maybe not the same. And our Heavenly Father does the same for us. He loves us with as much love, not the same, because sometimes my kids will say, well, I didn't get to do that or this. Well, it's a different maturity level or whatever, and we're all on different spiritual levels, and the Heavenly Father is there for us for everything. And I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Did you think to ask? Did I think to ask? I need help right now. Please help me through this. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I like how you said ask to get help rather than ask to like solve the thing.
Right.
Because that's not always like we're learning from
Right,
it. So it's
right.
good to be in an uncomfortable situation.
And with the children in my center, I will tell them, I love you. No matter who you are, what you've done, we still love you. And then we try to teach them too. It's always best to tell the truth because if you're not telling the truth, and sometimes I introduce principles, this is how I feel, and this is what I believe. And it's important for those kids to know. And I share that with them openly. If I've never had a parent come to me and tell me, I don't believe like you do, or that wasn't appropriate. So they know that I do the best I can, and I play BYU Idaho radio when I pick up kids from school. How come, Julie, do you always have music on about Jesus? And I'll tell them, well, because that's what I love. That's where I get it from. Would you like me to change the channel? If you need me to change the channel, I'm more than willing to. No, it's okay. We'll listen. And then they sing with me or do with me or whatever, because they know who I am. They know how I feel. And it's never going to be a negative thing if we have it in a good spiritual context.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love
anyway,
that.
I share. I do share. And I have one girl who used to get in my van. She's now at BYU Idaho, but she wasn't a member of the church. And she'll say, Julie, what music are you listening to? And I would say, she says, it's so calming. Because I said, do you need me to change it? And I said, oh, it's just music that I love, And most of it was maybe didn't even have words. But she says, no, it feels good.
Oh,
And when she was 18, she became a member of the church.
oh, that's
And
sweet.
I got to be at her baptism, and I just went through the temple with her, and it's amazing. So it's
That's
awesome. so
amazing.
so she knows she's loved and she's independent. She has guidelines of what she likes to do and
Yeah.
how it will be in her life.
My dad often says one of the first songs that he remembers as he was looking into the church was
Hmm.
I Am a Child of God.
Yeah.
And he was 25. He said, I've never known that. I
Yeah.
never knew that that is
I
what a
was a
thing.
child of God.
And these little 2-year-olds are singing,
Yes.
I am a child of God, and He has sent me here,
Yeah.
has given me an earthly home with parents kind and dear. He said, I didn't have that. But I
Yeah.
knew I wanted to become a parent that was kind and dear
I love that.
and
Yeah.
lead me, guide me, walk beside me, all of
Correct.
those things that
Yes.
he didn't have. And then he was able to model for us.
Right.
And I think that that's what you're doing here with your center.
Yeah.
You're helping these kids to know that they are loved
Yeah.
and
And parents. And the parents know we love them too. If they
mm,
have issues or need things, they'll ask. And that's again the thing. We just have to learn to ask and get through it that way.
so our 4 points in review is physically involved, mentally and intellectually involved, emotionally involved, and spiritually involved.
Yep.
And as we associate with these relationships that we're building, you have a really good quote I want you to share.
Oh, well, you know what? And part of it is social involvement too, which I think is
Oh,
huge. Which,
social.
yeah,
Okay.
because you have to be involved with your kids socially. As ourself, we have to be involved socially. If we leave ourselves without any friends or anybody and we're alone,
Mm,
there's we go back to that sad person over there because we never
yeah.
want to be alone. We're
Yeah.
humans. Humans like company. And I think that's huge. And in serving, we do a lot of that. So
I
service is
like that.
huge because service, if you feel alone and left out, go serve somebody else. And you will
Mm,
find that other people are in the same situation we are or have bigger issues or different issues because we all have big issues in our own minds and our own heart. It's how we deal with them. And Heavenly Father, thank goodness He knows which ones we can handle and which ones we can't. So it's all
yeah.
good. But I have a quote from Babe Ruth that I
Okay.
loved that says, and I like this because involvement takes two.
Mm,
So it can't be just single. You can't be involved if you're alone. You're involved with yourself personally. But Babe Ruth said, the way a team plays as a whole determines its success. You may have the greatest bunch of individual stars in the whole world, but if they don't play together, the club won't be worth a dime. And I thought, you know what? Which is so true. So that's why we as a church, as a group, as people, individuals focus and function together. Do we always
mm.
like that person? No, but learning to like and love those people is what makes us one together, and that's huge.
I like that.
So,
And I like how you say socially because you can't be social by yourself.
no,
You have to have
no,
interconnection some way,
yes.
somehow. And sometimes as moms, we are socially invested in just our children at the time. And
And
then
that's okay. That is
it is
okay.
okay. But also then they grow up and then they're gone. And then who are we? And
Yes.
that the
My children are around, and I'm so grateful because I have 3 of my 4 here, and I am very socially involved with them. And I have a sister in law who struggles because her kids are all over the place. And right now she is alone. She doesn't have
mm,
anybody else with her. And she calls me and tells me how lonely. She said, when I was raising my children, I thought being alone was wonderful.
mm,
She says, being alone is not
mm,
wonderful. I am so sad and so alone and feels I don't know where my life is going because she's alone.
yeah.
So, and right now she's not a member of the church. And I send her little quotes and she knows, and it's all
Hmm.
good
Hmm.
because that's what our groups are to do. Relief Society functions as that, as a helpmate to one another so we can build a community to help each other rather than
Yeah.
being left alone. And there's groups all over where you never have to be left alone.
And put
But you
yourself
should.
out there and go get
Yes.
involved.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and that's why the top
Absolutely.
like my guidelines, be helpful, be kind, which is really be of service,
Absolutely.
right? Figuring out
Absolutely.
a way to look outside of
Hmm.
yourself and find something else within society that you can go be
I love
helpful
it.
with.
Yeah.
And And my parents are a huge model of that. They are very involved in
They
the
are. I've
community.
dealt
And
with your parents, and they're awesome, awesome people, and so willing to give, especially of their time
yes.
and them,
Yeah, their time, their
everything.
energy,
They're
their
awesome.
anything.
Such a great example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to be like that.
My parents were that way too. My mom never complained ever. And I keep thinking, I complain sometimes. And I'm like, Mom, I need to be more like you. I don't know why you never complained. I think I heard her in my whole life complain one time, why did this person not do this? That was her complaint. And I
Wow.
thought, oh, I need to still continue to learn from her. And
Yeah.
it's okay. But that's how we grow. It's how we grow.
So as you are able to reflect back, because you have been the mother of all of these kids,
Hmm.
your kids, the whole community's
Yeah.
kids, how have you, like, what is the golden that you, as you've been reflecting on this being involved?
You know, I don't know if there is a golden. It's just literally loving and to
Mm.
love and to be involved that way. Because when I'm upset, I have to go find somebody to love. Even if it's a dog, it's okay. Find somebody to love. They don't. My husband says, you always love your dog because they love you unconditionally,
Conditionally.
and they don't
Yeah.
talk back to you until you know. It's like, okay, that's why I love this dog. No, but there's so many ways to love, and there's so many people out there who just need a smile
Mm.
or a hello or whatever it is. And when we don't feel like doing that, if we'll learn to do those things, we will realize that makes us happy rather
Mm.
than turning away from it. And sometimes it's the hard things that we have to turn into to do, that we
Yeah.
say that's what helps us grow and to love and to feel involved. And that's
Yeah.
what it is.
So at the beginning of this chart that I created way back, I mean, it's almost been, 16 years
Yeah.
now. It started out be helpful, be happy. And those were my
Uh-huh.
guidelines. And then I soon learned you can't force your kids to be happy.
No.
But you can choose or expect kids to be kind. And we've changed that from being happy to be kind. And how have you seen that in your
When
center?
you're kind, you are happy. It's
Mm.
100% just what you said. Because teaching children to respect others, to share, and to take turns, that's a big issue, is taking turns. So we have to say, it's their turn now, your turn comes in just a minute. And that's what it will be. So
Yeah.
learning to say, there's something else you can do right now and come back to that. But that's okay. So literally, kindness is huge, being of service to others. Once you're kind and you can say, okay, or can I play with you, or can I be involved with you,
Mm.
then, and if somebody says no, and some do, then
Yeah.
it's not like, well, it's okay, then let's find something else. But then we have to work with that child to say, okay, maybe you have this long, but as you're ready, can you please share with that child? And they learn what being kind is.
Yeah, which
So,
that's huge for your center because sometimes these kids are only kids,
they're
only
only,
children
mhm,
that
that
or
don't have to share.
yeah.
Yes. Or there's others that have so much to share and they don't want to share anymore.
Yeah.
So it goes every which direction. So can you do with one child the same thing? You have guidelines. And then we have to learn the child individually and do what works for them.
Yeah, that
It
is so
works.
neat. Well, any last thought that you have for us?
No, this has been fun. I've learned so much and I
Oh,
really appreciate it. I'm so excited to go back and share these charts with my center and my teachers because I think this will give them so much more to work from because it's literally a picture
yeah.
and a sight and they can see it so they can reflect with what they're doing. I love the mirrors too because they can see themselves.
It's tangible.
It is. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, thank you for joining
Thank you.
us on this podcast.
Okay,
You're
appreciate it.
amazing.
Thank you so much.